Hello, my name is Dusty, and I read Reddit stories. This one's an update for the Am I the Astronaut for not getting upset or convincing the bride after I was uninvited at my friend's wedding. Y'all remember this one? I will be posting an update here because, frankly, I do not have the time to edit or shorten up the post. I exceeded the character limit, and there was a whole lot going on that I did not want to leave out, so I will be copying the post here. Hello to all. A lot of you have been asking me for an update, so I might as well make one. Before I do that, I want to clear up a couple of things that a lot of people have been confused about. One, when I went dress shopping with Matthew's sister, she brought Jennifer along because she wanted us to put our differences aside for Matthew's sake. This shopping trip was not for Jennifer to buy a wedding dress, as she had already purchased her dress a long time ago. I hope that clears things up. I would never try on a dress or purchase one if the bride is the one who is shopping for a dress. That is an obvious rule, LOL. I didn't know that. I did not know this was an obvious rule, but then again, I'm rarely part of the bridal party. 2, Matthew and I never had romantic feelings for each other. We never hooked up or anything of that nature. Our relationship has always been and will be platonic. I'm going to go straight to the point with this update. This is going to come out as a shock to a lot of you, but Jennifer called off the wedding. I found out from our friends who messaged me. I asked what happened, and they explained that Jennifer told Matthew she couldn't marry him and admitted that her behavior towards me, as well as towards a couple of other people, which includes Matthew's sister and his best friend Jacob. Hold up. And admitted that her behavior towards me, as well as a couple of other people, which includes Matthew. Oh, so she admitted her behavior. She apologized to Matthew and realized that she isn't in the right place to get married. This happened about 2 days before the wedding. I decided to call Matthew, and I told him I heard about the wedding being called off and assured him I'll be here if he ever wants to talk. He asked if we could meet, and I agreed. Matthew explained that Jennifer had severe trust issues, not just regarding me, but with his best friend Jacob. Jacob was supposed to be Matthew's best man, but he was also uninvited by Jennifer over the fact that Jacob might encourage Matthew to cheat. Yeah, severe trust issues is right. Matthew also told me Jennifer has constantly accused Matthew of possibly cheating on her with me, despite showing her evidence that we did nothing of the sort. It had gotten to the point where Jennifer would prevent Matthew from going out with his friends. She would sometimes confiscate his phone, and she has even taken his car keys, causing him to be late for work. So there's been a lot more happening behind closed doors. Matthew wasn't blinded by love. He was simply afraid to reach out to any of us for help. He was embarrassed to tell us that his bride-to-be was doing more than just controlling the wedding guest list. Why would you? Okay. I asked Matthew if he wanted to go with us on vacation, but he declined, stating he wants to be alone, which I do understand. I go on vacation, and I had a fun time. By the way, I did wear the dress that I bought and wore that to dinner with my boyfriend. He loved the dress and had constantly complimented me the entire time. When we returned, Jennifer messaged me, which I was surprised by, as she never once did such a thing. She asked me if we could meet. At first, I wasn't sure, but I agreed. I brought my boyfriend along for safety reasons, smart move, as I wasn't sure what Jennifer's intentions were with me. Jennifer told me that she wants to apologize for lashing out at me at the store, for calling me names, and for uninviting me to the wedding over something so small. She explained that she allowed her jealousy to get the better of her, and she was so scared of losing Matthew that she ended up doing things that she deeply regrets. Jennifer is going to get therapy and said that she had some trauma in her childhood that lingered into her relationship in ways she did not expect. She also admitted that she was insecure and found me to be a very beautiful woman, and she was a bit jealous when Matthew and I talk about our hobbies, and that made her feel left out because she isn't into Minecraft or gaming. I told her none of those things matter to me now since she has apologized and admitted what she did wasn't right and that I have forgiven her. As for Matthew and I's friendship, we are now back to hanging out and playing games together. Even my boyfriend has been hanging out with Matthew a lot, and they've gotten closer. I did decide to ask Matthew if he ever did have a crush on me back in the day, and he said he never did, and that he was being honest. Jennifer moved her stuff out, and as for the cabin where the wedding was supposed to take place, Matthew, my boyfriend, myself, and a couple of our other friends will go there this upcoming weekend. I apologize for taking too long. I think posting it on my personal profile rather than the subreddit is better since I broke the character limit. I'm quite busy, and I know everyone was dying for an update. I'd also like to thank everybody who's given me advice on how to handle this situation in my friendship with Matthew. I also had the chance to read some personal stories some of you have sent me, and it breaks my heart. I realized I have such a big support group here, and that's one thing I love about Reddit. Indeed, speaking of, the Dusty Thunder subreddit has blown up. It's massive. It's awesome. If you're not part of it yet, and you do anything on Reddit, go be part of it. It is a lovely community there. It sounds like unreconciled trauma. Here's the cool part to me. typically when somebody has issues like this, like severe trust issues with some kind of trauma seeding that, they don't have the emotional wisdom to hit the pause button and be like, what's going on? And I wonder who she talked to come to this realization. If she came to it on her own, that's an incredible emotional wisdom that is rare, right? Normally it takes somebody else being like, do you think this might have something to do with this? And then for them to be like, oh, damn. So maybe she talked this out with some people that tried to connect the dots for her. Maybe she just pondered on it long enough to try to figure things out. Maybe if she felt herself having out of character reactions for everything, she sat down and self-evaluated, which is a wise thing to do. It's rarely the case. It rarely is the case for, to have emotional wisdom. It's normally it just snowballs into some kind of chaotic thing. And obviously it did snowball to some kind of chaotic thing. For that to happen and then the realization to happen is even more rare, I think. I mean, good for Matthew for this happening 2 days. I know it's 2 days before the wedding, and that makes me think a lot what a lot of you are thinking as well. Can we say attention-seeking behavior? Calling this off 2 days before the wedding. I mean, like, I'm just not in the right place. Bitch, probably should have figured that out more than 2 days before the wedding. The flip side of that coin is it's before the wedding. It's before there was a lifetime commitment made. It was before this could have been a lot messier. So good for everybody? ? Wonder how long her behavior went on. Matthew needed help, so it probably wasn't out of character. Christine, you're right. He was afraid to ask for help because he was afraid how she would react, which means that there was enough of a precedent built for him to worry, right? So it had been going on for a while. So how long, and was it truly out of character, or was this her new character? If it got bad enough for her to realize how bad she was being, why didn't it get bad enough for him to pump the brakes and say, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life?